Good morning, everybody, and we have made it. We've made it to the Chilean fjords, and our first stop, the Garibaldi Glacier Fjord and the Garibaldi Glacier, and we'll go on a Zodiac tour, show you that in a little bit. And before that, we're just going to be able to get ready, get fitted for all of our gear, and prepare for the rest of the adventures on this trip. So stay tuned to this episode, our first in Chile. Wow, I don't know how we're going to Zodiac in this. Expeditions, more than any other type of cruise ship travel, rewards and in many cases demand that you rise early. And our sail into Garibaldi Fjord this morning is a searchlight shining example of the unique sights, sounds, and experience that only a small expedition ship can provide. And the best reason to get out of bed and grab that early cup of coffee. While the bulk of the ship waits on the velvety voice of Juan Restrepo to wake them this morning, I get some time alone with the ice, rocks, and waterfalls as the captain gently pushes us deeper towards the glacier. With the sun trying to make its way up and over the walls of the fjord, every moment now becomes a brand new discovery. So a little on the process here on Expedition. As part of a seaborne expedition, you are assigned to a group of about 40 people and given a colored sticker on your ship ID. Activities on and off board are ordered by colored groups, and every day the groups sequence forward with the previous day's first group becoming the last, and the process repeats throughout the expedition. Welcome to Patagonia. This means no group is continuously getting the early wake-up call, and no group is perpetually last. For this trip, we are in Group Orange, and our group is second to last on this first day of exploring. At the nightly briefing and in the Herald, travelers learn the times for their group to go out on the Zodiacs and hikes. Today's itinerary is for the Pursuit to spend about 2 hours as close as we can get to Garibaldi Glacier. Then at about 9:30, she'll back off and around the bend behind us into waters with less ice to launch the Zodiacs. Groups brown, blue, and pink will have Zodiac tours at 10 a.m., and yellow, orange, and green will go out just after lunch at 1 p.m. I don't know about you guys, but I've been on deck for an hour with no jacket, so time to warm up with a latte. So I'm not sure how all this is showing on the video. I'm pretty sure it's not doing justice. This incredible landscape and seascape. It's very hard to stay inside for long. As we get more daylight, it seems new mountains appear beyond these 2,000-foot high cliff walls. Experiencing a morning like this in a place like this is exactly why traveling with the Doobies exists. 2 years ago, we made a pledge to visit some incredible places while we could and not wait any longer to feed the 401k or find that perfect time. Economies change, ecologies change, and ultimately, all waiting does is burn the one thing you can't get back: time. Well, we can't spend all morning out on deck, though, and when you do go inside, it seems like the Pursuit is trapped in a giant terrarium where all we see trees, rocks, and ice. This morning, we're going to grab a quick bite to eat in the Colonnade. And I noticed something very interesting. I'm usually not a fan of the morning buffet, but on Pursuit, there's less of a crush. And we have the evening restaurant team here this morning, so everything is running smooth and friendly and competent. God, I hope this holds. So the advantage of always having a nice balcony view on these ships. Since we'll have an early lunch before our tour today, time to hit the gym. How's this for a workout with a view?
You getting ready for the first Zodiac tours to go.
Sauna, anyone? Okay, not gonna lie, this is like a advertisement for Seabourn here. It's a sauna with a view. After a quick rinse off, no way I'm going to pass up a jacuzzi with this view from up on 9, with or without those smokers nearby.
So, this the perfect jacuzzi with a view here.
We definitely want an early lunch today to make sure we have settled stomachs for a 2-hour Zodiac trip. So we head to the restaurant, which for this expedition is open every day from noon to 1. It's a more leisurely lunch, and with the windows down on 4, it's also dining with a view. T-minus 20 minutes for our first Patagonian expedition activity. Time to layer up. There's a protocol in place for cold weather expeditions, which is the expedition coordinator will broadcast a 15-minute notification for the next group to start putting on their gear. There's usually then a call for each color group to head down to the expedition lounge where we wait to be called to the mudroom on 3 where Zodiacs are loaded. It's about 10 minutes between each group once the loading starts. Our parkas have a zippered pocket on the arm for keeping our ship ID handy. Loading of the Zodiacs is strictly one guest at a time, and you must have both hands free to perform the sailor's grip, hand to wrist, maintaining contact with crew members until safely on the boat. Driving us today is Yuri, and our expedition guide today is Jess. She's a geologist hailing from the great state of Hawaii. We didn't know how lucky we were yet to be on Yuri and Jess's boat this afternoon, but let's just say having a hyper-passionate geologist narrating a glacial fjord is a phenomenal treat.
The black stuff dripping down, that's not just water. It's a covering that covers these rocks that's alive. It's called lithobiotic crust, and it's made of algae, fungus, water, and minerals, and it forms a paint. Like if you took a bucket of paint and just poured it down the mountainside, but it's alive.
As we first drive toward the west flank of the fjord, the unreal glass painting landscape comes into sharp focus. Scars left by large landslides, leaving piles of rubble in the water, and naked clean rock above, not yet colonized by microorganisms. Rock cormorants call these fjords home, and by doing that doo-doo that they do so well, provide nutrients for plant life in an ecosystem basically devoid of soil.
Function, but below the water. So this is bull kelp. Huge, long fronds, big stems, feet, a lot of protection for small fish, small invertebrates. There are tons of fish here. So lots of mollusks, bivalves, weird and strange little invertebrates.
The deep green waters is home to large kelp, which provide the nursery structures for all the small fish the cormorants crave. Anybody want a taste?
And what they do is they have little claspers on the bottom, teeny tiny little fingers that hold on to the bottom. They grow these incredible stalks, and then they all have...
Moving to the east wall of the fjord, we get a great close-up view of the rocks that make up the Cordillera-Darwin complex of the Andes. This section of the Andes, where an entire small tectonic plate was subducted under the South America plate about 70 million years ago, resulted in a sub-range of mountains made almost exclusively of metamorphic rocks. The intense heat and pressure warped and hardened the stones we see today. The uplift of the plates and the scrubbing of ice has created a masterpiece of unique geologic art. As we turn toward Garibaldi, my sentiment from this morning echoed in my head. I don't know how we're going to operate Zodiacs in this. But all that was before we had met Yuri. Come to find out, he's the master for cutting his way through and around icy passages.
Stuck right there. Yuri and I were estimating earlier that it's probably 2 days old, this iceberg. Yes, because this glacier, Garibaldi Glacier, calves a ton.
Garibaldi, we find out, is a unique and stubborn dude who is bucking every trend worldwide and is in fact growing in mass and length. The glacier stretches some 10 miles as part of the Cordillera-Darwin ice field. Now, this ice field, along with the southern and northern Patagonian ice fields, is the third greatest concentration of glacial ice on the planet behind Antarctica and Greenland. As you can see all around us, this is a very active tidewater glacier, and every little while we can hear cracking and popping. A striking feature of Garibaldi is the medial moraine formed high up in the mountains where Garibaldi is formed at the merger of two mountain glaciers. On each side of the glacier, we get a glimpse of destruction of the forest as Garibaldi extends further into the fjord. I tell you, any day when you can sit in a rubber boat surrounded by ice is a great day. So where did all the other Zodiacs go? Before leaving the ice, Jess grabs a slab for closer inspection, and you can make out the layers that built this ice year after year, and Jess tells us from the air bubbles trapped in ice, research can determine the composition of the atmosphere at that time by running the small air samples through a mass spectrometer. How does she know? Well, she was a researcher who participated in these efforts for the University of Miami. Go Canes!
The layers, right? The layers are yearly successional deposition of snow, okay? Year after year after year.
Yeah.
And then the bubbles.
After escaping the ice, we float gently in a small bay where two kelp geese are relaxing. We also get a glimpse of a heron lurking in the trees near the water. Sheltered completely from the wind and surrounded by what looks like a meticulously manicured Japanese garden, it's like we're in our own emerald paradise. In tonight's briefing, Juan takes us through our route to the next stop. Even though the park we are visiting is only about 25 kilometers as the condor flies from Garibaldi, as they say down east, you can't get there from here. So it will be a full day and night steam out briefly to the Southern Ocean and then into the Cockburn Channel. All that means for us is we can enjoy the evening, which starts with Olivia masterfully singing Night at the Musicals.
Don't change your hair for me, not if you care for me. Stay, funny Valentine, stay.
And we'll have time for a drink at the Expedition Lounge before we get to have dinner with Olivia for the chef's signature dinner. Food was excellent. Don't know what a texture of chocolate was, or is, but I could have eaten 3. Also dining with us at Olivia's table are 2 people who are now 2 of my favorite people on the planet. Tom and Jillian, we miss you. Back in the Discovery Center after dinner, violinist Charlie Cole is playing us off tonight. Really, a classically trained violinist playing GNR and Black Sabbath? I don't know what else this trip has in store, but honestly, if it ended tomorrow, I'd think I'd gotten a bargain. Enjoy the slideshow of what I think is the best first day on a ship we've ever had. Good night, all.